We are now going to do the Excel Module 4 Project 1, Excel Dexter Bank and Trust. I've already downloaded the instructions. I'm going to open up the Excel file. And the first thing I need to do is come up here. I've got my yellow protected view on. I need to enable editing. I have my documentation spreadsheet here. And now I need to open up the other worksheet. So we've got Dexter Bank and Trust, we have our branches that opened up in 2021. We have a table showing our different branches in Charleston, Huntington, Morgantown, Parkersburg, and Wheeling, and their quarters, how many branches were opened up. We have a column chart, new branches by quarter, and we also have a pie chart, new branches in 2021. We're going to make some changes to some of our charts in this. So the first thing we need to do is, in our new branches worksheet here, we are going to change our chart type of our column chart here. So we need to come down here, and the first thing we need to do is select the chart. Can't do anything till you select it. Then up here in our chart tools, we've got our design tab and we have our format tab. Under the design tab, you can see change chart type. We're not happy with this chart. We don't think it exemplifies what we want our readers to see. So we're going to change the chart type to a clustered column chart. So we've got our stacked column. Right up here is our clustered column. You get a little screen tip that tells you that's the name of it. And then we're going to say OK. So now we can see a little bit better the new branches by quarter chart here. It's a little easier to interpret. We want to move our legend. That legend is what helps us understand what our chart's showing and telling us. We want to move it to the right side. So up here on our design, we're going to go to Add Chart Element and come down to Legend and say Right. Move it to the right. We want to emphasize the branches that were opened up in the fourth quarter. So we're going to change the fill color of our quarter 4 data series. So we're going to come up here. Here's our data series for the quarter 4, fourth quarter. And we're going to change that to an orange accent 6. So up here, we have to come up here to the chart tools, the format tab. We've got our shape fill. And we're just going to move our mouse over it until we see the orange accent 6. It's the last row here, and we're just going to select that. Then we also want to make it glow, and we did this with our in Word when we were working with our pictures. We're going to come down here to the shape effects, and we're going to add a glow, and we want the 5-point orange accent color 1. So we just want to make it just to stand out a little bit more. So like we did that with our pictures, also do it with our bar columns in Excel. Over here in our pie chart, we like it, however, we think it might be a little easier to read if our data information was on the outside of our chart instead of across the bottom and then our percentages inside. So we're going to change that. We're going to change the chart style. So up here, make sure you select that chart. Under the design tools, we have these different chart styles. You can see, move your mouse over and you can see the different way it would be changing it. And we want to change it to style 9. because we want, like I said, we want to move our names. They're right out the edge of the charts. So we just think that's a little easier to read, a little easier to understand that pie chart. We really want to emphasize that Huntington had a 27% increase. So we want to explode that piece of the pie out. When you have a pie chart, these different areas in the chart are referred to as pieces of pie. Now if I click in the pie area, you can see now I have sizing handles on each piece of pie. If I double click on the Huntington pie piece, see now I only have handles around that pie piece. Now I can just click on that pie piece and drag it out and explode it away from the other pieces of pie. So now the Huntington piece of pie is a little more, stands out more than the other areas. The last thing that Brianna wants to do with this chart is she wants to compare the cities and with the highest and lowest number of new branches. So we are going to create a 2D area chart based on the range A7 to E8. The first thing we have to do is select our range. If you don't select the range, Excel doesn't know what to put in your chart. So we're going to select A7, and we're going to come down here to E8. Make sure that you do not select the total area. We're going to come up here to Insert, and right here underneath our column is our line or area charts, and click on that. And right down here at the bottom we have our 2D area chart. We want our chart title to be most and fewest new branches. We're going to move our chart to where it's underneath our pie chart, and then we're going to change the chart size so that it fits right underneath in that little area. Kind of square it up there. We want to make it a little easier to understand, so we're going to format this chart area to layout 7. So here's our chart styles up here. We're going to find the one that is style 7. And this is going to display our markers for each of our quarter, and we want to change our colors to make it a little easier to read too. So we've got our change colors here, and we want to change it to the monochromatic pattern 1, just this first one, just to make it a little softer and easier to read. The last thing that we want to do to this chart is we want to change the horizontal axes. So the information across the bottom, this is the horizontal axis that goes across, and then you have our vertical axes across the side. So over here on the Add Chart element, we have axes titles. You have the primary horizontal and the primary vertical. We want the primary horizontal. We're going to have an axes title, and we want it to be quarters. So change that to quarters. So now we're ready to save and submit your assignment in Blackboard for grading.